Right. Hello, plastic people. Just realized I was doing all this and not actually live. Some reason it did not start. So I'm working on getting the heat sets in on the Rook right now. We're on this part, just getting the ones around the exterior done. I've got the two by the motor mount and started on the other side. Using primarily the stream cam because this one does not seem to be wanting to focus very well, and the light seems a little dim on it, even though you can see on the stream cam I've got plenty of light. So we'll just use the stream cam, it's closer anyway. I think we're going to get through the heat sets today, and that'll be it for today, and then we'll move on to more of the assembly next week. Not a lot of time today, but I did want to get one out for everybody. Since it also didn't come across, this will be the color scheme, and I don't think it's working very well to do the pop green fluoresces nicely, so this gray just kind of lets the pop green shine more than anything. Doesn't detract from it, it just kind of shows it off. I'll try to get I've got a bigger black light. I'll see if I can get it set up when the printer's done and see how well it comes across on camera. Some of that stuff photographs well, and sometimes it doesn't. I have my Yihua 948 soldering station set to 300, and just running, letting pretty much just gravity go through and get my heat sets in. I'm not really pushing down on them. Just a little tiny bit of pressure, letting the temperature melt the plastic, and hopefully it gets a good melt fully around that heat set, and then use my square there to give it a good press, make sure that there's no lip around it, make sure it's fully seated in there. Be nice to have that one of the nice little insert tools that do this almost automatically for you, but never used one yet, so I don't miss it. I've always done them by hand, haven't had any problems. There's always the first time though. I might just have to get the parts and build Vector 3D's version. I like Naomi Wu's a little better, but I don't think it's worth the, 3 times the price almost, or more. But it is nice, and of course it comes with the soldering iron and the controller, so you don't have to either order or already have that. So maybe that's an aspiration thing to get one of those. But this has served me fine for the last few years. Having the right tool tip though, that definitely helps over trying to use a standard soldering tip like this, which this one I wouldn't want to use anyway, it's too fine. but because it goes way too far down. But I've got other ones that would fit better. Don't see a reason for them. Spend the 10-15 bucks to get the set of the heat insert tools or tips on Amazon and just use that. They tend to go in better. I do even have a couple of the LDO ones. I ordered this set. I think it was 10 or 15 bucks on Amazon, and it works perfectly well without any problems. So I'm just going to stick with it and keep using it. All right. So looking at this, I've got another, looks like 6 to put in. So that will be 2 here, 2 here, this one here, here, and then these 2 here. I'm going to do the flat ones first. Those will be a lot easier to handle than these 2 up here. Couldn't quite tell from the instruction manual, but it looked like this is the Fabreeko parts and the STLs, and it looks like they use more heat sets than the official Rolohaun STLs do. All right, and then these 2 here are going to be fun. It looks like they come in from this side. I just have to go in at an angle, and then I'll use my square to get them to sit flush and straight. As the iron doesn't go straight in there. These are, of course, recessed a bit from the main frame, but at least there's no heat up here touching the frame. All right, there we go. So that is all of the heat sets for that. So the next will be the bed support frame. All right. And there's only 2, it looks like, in here, and that's these 2 here. And again, I'm guessing it is the smaller the ones. It looks like these holes might have been slightly oversized, but they're not dropping in, so they should still be okay. now the upper frame. Right, so looks like, can't quite tell, but looking at the holes here, I'm guessing it's this side. And then we'll have two here. And I can't again tell, but it looks like these two go in from the inside, just based on the way the holes are modeled there. And then all of these get filled. Keep my square nearby so I can smooth these out real quick before they cool down too much. If I remember right, these are the ones that are going to hold the linear rails in place for the y-axis. Yeah, and I'll show you the, I did order the magnet so that I can have a magnetic heat bed. And I don't see where I think it's on the bed, which is behind the soldering station. But I ordered the magnet, and I just ordered the Fizette's magnet from Amazon, and it came with the PEI textured plate on one side and carbon fiber on the other, so that I'll be able to use interchangeably between the 0.1 and this one, since they're the same 120 mil or 120 mil square bed. I've got plenty of the beds. I only needed the magnet, but finding just the magnet was a lot harder than just buying the build plate with the magnet, and probably only a couple of dollars more anyway. I don't think it made a real big difference, and it's not like it's a big deal to have extra build plates. I mean, especially as small as those are, they don't take up much space. I can't think there's too many more heat sets beyond these that are really needed. Maybe a couple more on the hot end. I've already got two in here on the hot end. I don't see any others for the rookery, but there are some other pieces for the mini Sherpa, so there might be some there. I did go through the manual, but I didn't stop step by step as I looked through it the other day, just looking to see what was there. Forgot to go ahead and prep all of this, but I'm sure somebody'd like to see the way that I do these as opposed to the way others do them. Always, you know, get a few different viewpoints, find what works best for you. Don't take any one thing, always look at a different way, and what one person does may not fit your workflow. So try a couple different ways, maybe hybridize it, do what someone does and add something that somebody else does. Does not hurt to be a little unique on some of these. There isn't generally one right way and one wrong way. There's normally a whole bunch of in-betweens. And some people tell you to use a higher temp, some people tell you to use a lower temp. I think I'm probably on the lower side at 300. Going into ASA, of course, you're going to want to be at least over 250. Make sure you're getting a good melt, but you don't want to be too low to where it barely melts and doesn't form around these things, and you also don't want to be too high where it just shoots right through because of the heat. And these, you do want to try to get them as flush as you can, especially with the rail that's going to be sitting on top here. Okay, so that is them. I've got 4 more, and it looks like 4 more needed for this particular piece. So they'll be here, 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 and here. So let's get these top ones. I don't know if you'll be able to see it because of the camera. So I'm going to do these up here. I'm just going to rest it on and hold it more in place this way. The mount down there makes it a little hard to get nice and straight if you're not at the edge of the table like this. Okay. And cannot quite tell, but it looks like these need to go in from inside here. The holes on the outside are not the right size for the heat sets, but the ones inside are. Bad thing is, I don't think I'll be able to get my iron in at the right angle. And because of the curve on the inside, I don't even know if my square is going to work very well. Well, it looks like it did. go. So those are in nicely. All right. So that takes care of that one. I've already got this one taken care of as well. So I guess we can do the feet. And then that's where I wanted to get through, was at least get to the feet and get that lower frame done today. So it looks like that is all the heat sets, and they've even got a link to Nero's video showing how to do the heat sets. So next is attaching the feet to the legs using an M515 and an M5 nut. So I've got that frame there. And M516s and M5 nuts. All right. Here are the feet. Need 4 M5 nuts. They gave me 5. I've got extras someplace as well. Would not be the end of the world if they were missing. All right, so I need the feet sections. And they've got a captive spot for the nut. And I'll just take my Nipex. It's fortunately not magnetic, but get it in at the right angle, the right orientation. I'm not going to press them all the way in. The screw will take care of that. It does say M5 by 16s. Let's see if I've got a big enough one to screw out. Nope. Do not have a big enough. No, I just lost one light. I guess that one has a less battery than I thought it did. Okay. So that will go in here. All right, that's a tight fit in there, but it got in. All right, and then we can just tighten this into the nut. And I'll flip it over so I can get more torque on it. Hopefully that'll pull that nut in. And it has. So that's good. I did go with the recommended 20% infill from Rolohaun, so I'm hearing cracking as it is. Used to using the 40%, and I can see a crack in the foot there. I'm used to using the 40% that's recommended on the Vorons, but I figure I would go with what the recommended was by the designer and see how that works. And that one cracked, so I might just reprint these feet out to get a bit stronger on that. Don't really like, I mean, I'm sure it's not a big deal on these anyway, but still not a big fan of having parts that crack right out like that. And every bit of these were printed on the Trident. I'm just not going to tighten that too much more, but it is looking like I may have to reprint these feet. And at least they don't take too awful long to print if I need to do so. So yeah, they're just, see if I can get this one to catch without pressing that in at all. No, it doesn't look like the screw's quite long enough. Might be a little off on tolerances. I still haven't really tuned the Trident a whole lot. It's just, it was already printing pretty good, so I didn't worry about doing a whole lot of tuning on it. And it might be possible that I don't need to reprint these other two. I might just need to reprint the smaller two, the front 2 feet, not worry about these back 2, because they look to be, at least this one looks to be all right. And these, I'm having to push pretty good to get the screw in there. A little bit of extra rubber sticking out of the hole. This one I don't even need the Nipex for, really. It's not fully enclosed, so it sits in there. This will be, of course, the AC inlet. Yeah, these back 2 seem to go in pretty good without cracking and damaging the plastics. So we'll look, I might not even worry about it. It's not really a big deal where they're at. I might just be able to drop a couple drops of super glue in there and call it a day. Or how the soldering iron's still hot, we can just plastic weld them together. There we go. That should work. For what little bit of, they're not going to take a whole lot. It's not that structural, so they should be good there. All right, so M3 by 10s to attach the feet to the lower frame. and move this into the same orientation they've got it. That's different for you, but for me, this will be in the same orientation as what they've got it in the picture here. For some reason, my desktop looks like it's extremely dark. Granted, this page is extremely dark, so that could definitely be part of it. So let's start with the front two, which look like they may be basically the same. Oh no, one's got 2 holes on it and one has 1 hole on it. So that should be that one, and then this one should be, oh no, that should be over. All right, I see 2 holes on one and 1 on the other, but it doesn't show, well, it's got to go this way though, because they both show holes at the front, here and here. And then these were M3 by 10s. Which 16, 18, 6, 12, 12, 8, 8, 12, and 3 by 25, and 3 by 12, 4, M3 by 10. And there are 2 per. This will give me a chance to use my new Wera ball end drivers as well. Which well, the screws may not be magnetic anyway. So I'm just going to push the screws in and then I'll line it up. Seems like there's enough room here. I don't really need the ball end, but certainly does not hurt to have them, just in case there isn't the room to get a straight driver in there. Okay, and this seems to be backwards from the picture, so oh, let's put it the right way and it'll work probably. There we go. That always works when you have it the right direction. Yeah, there's still room here for the driver to get in there. It's not off. There's just enough offset from the top where the foot is for the driver to go in there. There we go. That takes care of the feet, so that'll sit there. Insert the 4 8mm rods into place, and I've got them here. And I don't have a paper towel out here with me, so I'm just going to have to deal with it. If they should have some oil on it from the manufacturing and shipping, keep them from having any problems. I guess I could have put them in before doing the feet, but that would have been not much fun. Trying to get the feet on. There we go. I may have to take it down and make sure they're in right on the on my granite countertop downstairs. All right, then it says to take this piece and you're going to put the inserts in here, which I've got those. Right here it does say that they are a snug fit and you may have to tap them into place. Try to get the textured side with the textured side. Looks like I had some first layer issues, but the top's nice and smooth. I'm not quite sure which way. Okay, so that is going in. I want the better looking side out then, since they're symmetrical. And this table is definitely not the best. I'll have to do these on the, maybe on the, I have to do them over here on my desk. Get them in there nice and snug. I don't have anything up here I can use to tap on it. I do have my square though. That'll give me a good even distribution. There we go. So this will be the bottom plate to go on here. Again, a folding table may not be the best for that. There we go. Let's see what we get on these rods. On my desk, it's flat. I'll probably still want to go ahead and do it downstairs on the granite just to make sure that we're flat. But there we go. This bottom plate did warp a little as it was printing. see. So let's get the next will be, so we just did this one. Now it does, and I did get it in the right orientation, so my two backs are here, and then of course my two front. So you can see the Rook logo, two fronts, and then my two backs there, so it's in the right orientation. Next, will be the bearings. And those are going to go into here. So where are my bearings? I believe are in this box. There we go. Two bearings. M3 by 6 is what it said. I've got M3 by 8. M2.5 by 8. M3 by 18s. 12 M3 by 6s. Two of them to hold the bearings in. I do not see any holes to hold the bearings in. Insert the bearing into the bed support and center them. They are long on purpose. Oh, that's the ZN stop that's held in place by the two M3 by 6. I was reading it wrong. Surprise, surprise, I guess. Well, I am going to say that we probably should do the ZN stop before the bearings, since this is already nice and flat. And that must be this one. M3 by 6s. This picture. Okay. There we go. So it's not the ZN stop, it's the ZN stop piece here. I was looking at it, I'm like, this doesn't quite match up. Why does it not look right? You go back and revisit and you find out exactly what it is. And one more. Let's see what we can do before I take that thing downstairs to the granite. Make sure that we're sitting nice. There we go. want to, I want them to be a nice tight fit, so I don't want to ream out these holes too much, because it's got to hold the bed in place when they're on there. Looks like there might have been a seam. And again, with the wobbly table is not good for. Right, that's what the desks are for. And then I will have to do the, I want to grease these bearings up before I put them on there. Well, that's a cheap desk, so it's going to get a little damage, I guess. Alright, so those are in. So that'll go on the back. I'm going to have to grease them up. I don't remember if I've got... I know I've got the grease. I don't have my little tool though, but that's all right. Grab a paper towel. Probably should have put that in the other way. Let's do it this way. No, that's the right way anyway. Just let it squirt super lube all over the place. All right. Now they'll need to be realigned a bit. And when I get it down to the granite to make sure that the rods are all in nicely, that'll help as well. And it should make it a lot smoother riding on these rails as well. All right, and quiet it down. It's actually not so bad as far as smoothness goes, but a little loud. I do not know how well that's how the noise is coming across on the mic. All right, let's see where we're at here. Oh, I can do that yet. So, move that out of the way. So let's go ahead and we'll get the rails on, and then we will, that's set calling for 16 M3 by 20. We'll get the rails on and that'll be the end for the day. Okay, and here's this, and that will be these two rails here. Actually, these are Fabreeko. They may already have been greased. I've had some of the Honey Badger's rails in the past that came to me pre-greased, so I didn't have to grease them. And these do not appear to be. They're oily, but that's probably just the shipping oil. Get that one out of the way. And this is just IPA. I just keep it in a nice glass container instead of the plastic bottles, mainly because I can do the squirts. Move nicely at least. These aren't, oh they are, and these are Honey Badger branded there on the side. And they do move nice and smooth. And where did I put my tube of grease for these? There we go. I believe I've got this one from from Fabreeko as well. And I'll just give it a little squirt till I see it coming through the bearings. Pull it back just a little bit. Well, hopefully it's not leaking out on me. And then we can work it into the bearing. Nice and smooth. Clean up the overflow. All right. Same with this one. Well, that didn't work as well as I'd like. There we go. Bad thing about doing it that way is it always leaves that little bit inside your hole, and gotta like to clean that out as best I can. Especially since I'm gonna have to put screws in there in a couple of minutes. It'll be all right. Now, yeah, that is it. And I'm almost done. I'm gonna get these rails on and call it for the day. I blame it all on myself because I was so busy. We hosted game night last night, and I was so busy with that that I did not get the stream up and scheduled in a decent amount of time. I normally would like to have it up the night before so people are aware of it coming up, and that's all on me. Thanks. I'll try to. Another month. We only host game night the third or the fourth Sunday of the month, so another month before we've got game night again. So hopefully I'll be able to get streams up and scheduled in a timely manner between now and then. So we're going to be using 8 M3 by 20 per side to tighten these down. And I probably should have just grabbed my electric. That would make this go by quicker. This is exactly what these are good for. Hopefully it's got a charge. Do not know what the tolerances are going to be. So I don't know if these are going to self-center. I did not watch Nero's build. Probably should have done that. I did watch a little bit of Rolohaun's when he did his. But I think I only watched like the first video he put out on it. Looks like the best thing to do here is going to be to get these to seat in with the electric and then come back with with the manual ones and snug them down a little bit. But man, does this make it a lot easier. Looks like my heat sets may not have been perfectly straight. Alright, don't want to torque down with a ball end and risk busting the ball end off. There we go. Still moving nicely, so I'm happy with that. Said to leave the ends on. So we're leaving the ends on. I'll get this cleaned up a little bit more off stream. Organized, maybe get the screws into one of my tackle boxes. Small parts organizers, whatever you want to call them. It looks like I've got a ton of extra heat sets. I got 2 bags that say are for the 4x5s that are say 7 pieces each, and then I think I only used 3 of the 25 pieces of the 6x5s. So go in with the rest of my spare parts. I think that's a common theme with anybody that does 3D printers. You always have extra spare parts. Not a bad thing. Easier to do maintenance and fix things up when you have spares. And if you do mods, gives you the spare parts to do the mods without having to order more. Well, this one looks not to have any of their binding, so that's good. And we'll just have to seat them, and then we'll call it for the day. And I'll get the make sure the rods are nicely leveled. I'll go ahead and when I do that, I'll get this piece also mounted on there. But I can show you how it's going to go on here before we end today. So, bring this over here. See if we can get that camera angle that works fairly well. All right, there we go. So this is the piece we just did with our rods, and that's just going to slip on right here. I just need to make sure these rods are seated as well as they can inside the bottom piece. And I'll do that. I'll take it down here in a few minutes and throw it on the granite countertop. Make sure they're in there good. And then we'll come back to it. Hopefully I'll get the next stream scheduled Sunday night for next Monday. And we'll continue on. Does not look like this is going to be too awfully long of a build. We may be done with at least the hardware and everything else next week or the following, and move on to getting all the software set up and going. So it might be only 2 or 3 weeks for this one. That's not too bad. Nice change of pace. I did not have a spare Pi 02, so I do have one of those on the way, but I had to order it from the UK, so it's going to be hopefully the end of the week or middle end of next week before it's here. I have not seen them in stock in North America in months and months, but I keep an eye on our Pi locator to see when I can find some. I've got a couple extra Pi 4s right now, but I used my spare Pi 2. I don't remember where I put it. No, my spare Pi 2 was on my V0 and it died. So that one ended up getting trashed, and I had to put one of my Pi 4s on the V0. So no Pi 02s spare, so I've got 2 coming from the UK. So I should have one for the Rook now, and then I'll have a spare to put wherever I might need it, or if another one dies. But that's going to do it for today. I'll get the rods leveled out, and we will pick up hopefully next week to continue on with this one. And like I say, I don't expect it's going to take a whole lot of time to get it finished out. But everybody have a great day. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.